Okay, ladies and gentlemen, start your engine. The road rally is an activity where the teams of tables, and each of you at a table is a team by the name of your car, is going to try and win the rally by navigating quickly and accurately through a portion of the ODS servicing process. You'll be tracking the documentation and workflow from approval of an SCM to the first funding of a syndicated loan. The goal is to accumulate the most Coulter bucks with which to fund your borrower's loan at the end of the rally. You are rewarded for both speed and accuracy.
You're down. Yeah. Come on.
Yes, you're right. All right.
What is Skippy O? Oh, the other side of the room.
There you go.
Where is it?
Right there. Number one. There you go.
Okay, now what do we do?
Over the checkpoint.
The results. Very interesting. Some of those fast cars went really fast but weren't watching their road signs.
And that's kind of probably the moral of this story. If we don't figure out what the key drivers are, we'll probably never figure out how to improve this whole process. The two things I can guarantee you about the future is things will continue to change, and they'll change faster. Guarantee that. And to me, that's the major reason that we're undertaking this project, because we now operate in an incredibly competitive, fast-paced environment where things change every single day, and in order to be competitive, we have to get lean and mean and be flexible enough to change with it. You look at this process that you went through in the exercise tonight, we can't afford to process transactions in that manner going forward, because if we do, some competitor will give the customer the transaction before we can get it through the process. This can be an incredible win-win, because not only do we lower our cost of doing business, we improve the quality of service we give to our clients. And to me, that's what this project's all about.
I want you to look at this agenda and purpose as your invitation to a journey. This is your journey to recreate your system, to develop a viable new business process which delivers efficient, effective, client-focused service for the continually changing environment, and together to be committed to gaining the organizational consensus necessary to implement the design. And that's very important.
Teamwork? Better teamwork. A need for change.
Reduce bureaucracy.
Understand the entire process. Understand the entire process.
One system to do our work.
One system to do our work.
No more we versus they.
No more
We versus they.
we versus they.
The next is inflexible systems. Employee fears, loss of control, loss of jobs. The next is concerns with various risks, i.e. market, credit risk, etc. And the last is the size of the bank. It's just too big to change.
Now, I'm noticing that on both the driving side and on the restraining side, we've got inflexible systems. Why is that? What do you think? Well, there's your D. I mean, when you've got that dissatisfaction with something that's kind of got you bound by the heels, that can propel you toward change. But if it's real entrenched, it can also hold you back from change. Great job.
Our challenge then on the BPE team is to redesign a more efficient business process to address the changing markets. Complementing this new business process is LS2, our new wholesale credit system, which will enable us to capture information in a more streamlined manner. And although LS2 will allow us to do this, it would not be efficient to install LS2 over our existing functionalized process.
LS2 doesn't impose a workflow, it does impose information standards, what needs to be collected, how we use that information, whether it's centralized or decentralized or handed off to one person or three, is the job of this group.
Is this really an improvement or just a change? Is it going to be, right.
Is
So
it going to
gonna
be an
better?
improvement?
Oh, we think it's going to be a tremendous improvement, or we wouldn't be spending our time and energy working on it. You know, the proof is in the pudding. We hope that we'll come through with a process today that in the next couple of days it's going to be a major improvement. I guess you really aren't going to know until the process has been implemented if it was successful or not, but from the support we've been getting from the project and the feedback we've been getting so far, you know, we think we're on the right track.
I mean, it's up to us. If we don't make it work, nobody else is going to make it work. So there is no they that's going to make this happen. It's we that are going to make this happen. And that's also part of the responsibility that you have.
Day 2 of the journey. Well, today we're going to be taking another look at process requirements. So as you look around the room, take a minute to just look at what you see around the room. There are 4 stations that you're going to be going to. Around this back corner, or this front corner here, you'll notice just a whole bunch of ideas. Those are ideas that came out of the process understanding feedback sessions that were held back in your work areas. And so what you're going to be doing at that ideas station is you're going to be scanning what all the categories of ideas are that came out of those sessions, and then getting into more depth on the ones that capture your imagination.
We're going to do it my way. It's simple, okay? Yeah, LP bridges and...
Okay.
Why do we need
Connect code identifies, connects who the rep is, who to contact.
The investor and the borrowers all have limited access to this information.
The client has a choice of either calling in and making a request and dealing with the human, or doing it electronically.
We added an option to give investors, to have an option to where investors could submit funds to the client or directly into the agent, so there would be 2 options for that.
If there's a problem, there is, we call it a hotline, but there is some mechanism for the client to talk to somebody to resolve those issues.
Take those 4 easels and head to the other room with Craig, okay? We're going to ask you in the next hour to create one model, one process map, that takes the essence and the best of the 3 that have been created thus far, and be ready to propose one.
Your function, task again, is to integrate the 3 models. Come together with a common model that integrates as many of the features as possible.
Once we get the marketing and the underwriting and the whole approval,
Deal by deal
or
That's the end of the day.
Your second alternative was just deal by deal then?
Right.
The way we did it in our group was to take one plan that seemed to have the least amount of changes and to work from that.
Let's just look at maybe up until the credit approval process. Was there any?
An announcement. There is a process model in the other room.
The new design is a living thing, and because of this, it'll probably be enhanced with everyone's input in the entire process, right up through implementation, because we're always looking for better ways to do things. But as you see it now, that's the, as Paul said, the 80 or 90% model. So it might change a little bit around the edges.
We have talked about this project for about 10 months, and you need to know when we first started talking about it, the feeling within the bank with most of the people was, nah, you guys will never be able to do this. It kind of reminds me when they said it's impossible to put 100 people together in a room in 2.5 days and come up with a process. And it worked, didn't it? What you have done is really going to symbolize, hopefully, a lot of the positive changes at the Bank of America, because it's working. Thanks.